I'm Reghard and you're watching episode 15 of the NAG Show. In this week's episode, I show you 3 mobile games that I'm obsessed with at the moment, and one of them is locally developed. Then we explore the beautiful new MSI GeForce RTX 4070 graphics card. We've been putting it through its paces for the last few weeks, and this thing is pretty impressive. Should you drop your hard-earned cash on this new graphics card? Stay tuned for the answer later in the show. And we check in with Arielle about her long-term experiences with a PS5 Pro controller. Is this thing worth that hefty investment? Arielle has the answer for us. Now, one of the topics I've been receiving a lot of questions about is the return of the NAG Magazine. Yes guys, we're bringing back the print magazine as an annual later this year. But I'm not sure how much I can talk about it yet, so I thought let's check in with Len and see what he can say about what's happening with the print magazine later this year.
Hey Reghard. How do I divulge as little as possible information with all this excitement about that? So, you just have to pick up some of the older issues of NAG, this being the September 1998 issue. The nostalgia weighs heavily on all of us here at NAG. We all have our favorites internally. Yeah, cost of paper is a thing, but for sure, we want to bring NAG back, and we are going to be doing so at Rage 2023 on the NAG stand. More news to follow.
Yes, we certainly cannot wait to put the print magazine back together and of course bring the old team back together to make it happen. How good is your video gaming knowledge? Think you know your stuff? See if you can answer these gaming questions in this week's Quest for Knowledge. Question 1. LEGO has unveiled a new gaming-themed set earlier this week, almost guaranteed to become a classic collector's edition. What popular game does it feature? Question 2. Dying Light 2, the popular zombie survival game, has just announced a crossover event with another game. Name that game. And question 3, and this is a toughie. What is the name of the ending in the game Undertale? As always, the answers will be available at the end of the show, the very end, after the credits, so stay tuned for that. I've been digging into a bunch of awesome mobile games on the Galaxy S23 recently, as it's such a great mobile gaming device. There's a variety of old games and some new ones, and no, this is not a sponsored segment, this is all about the games. These are my top 3 favorite recent mobile gaming plays. Dungeon of Dreadrock is a cool 80s inspired RPG game that is available on Switch, Steam, and of course Android and iOS. This adventure game includes action, exploration, and fighting with a big focus on puzzle solving. While the game controls are a bit sluggish on mobile, you can select a D-pad control on the screen instead of the default swipe movements. The game's puzzles are fun, and overall the Dungeons of Dreadrock is a great game with a full storyline to boot. You can get it free with Google Game Pass. I met the developer for 4 Pillars back in 2018 at Rage, and I fell in love with this game as soon as I set my hands on it. At the time there was not many great mobile games to play. 4 Pillars stood out for me because it looked great, played well, and was developed by a South African game developer. I installed the game again recently and I have been enjoying it a lot. As a side-scrolling dungeon slasher, this game is loads of fun. Based on the 4 pillars, darkness, light, spirit and fear. Patience is the key with 4 pillars. This is a great adventure game. Magic Rampage feels like a zombie-infested dungeon crawler version of Mario Brothers. The game features beautiful graphics, loads of weapons, and of course zombies around every corner. There are over 100 levels to navigate through, and each one makes you stop to explore your environment and pick up loads of loot. Magic Rampage is available on iOS, Android, and Steam for your PC gamers out there. The game is free on Google Game Pass. The MSI 4070 Gaming Trio X is a surprisingly impressive graphics card. At around 17,000 Rand, this mid-range graphics card features 12 GB of GDDR6 RAM with 5,888 CUDA cores. For all the flack that Nvidia's been getting for its pricing on the 40 series, and rightfully so, the MSI 4070 Gaming Trio X is the first time that I see real value in upgrading to the GeForce 40 series. Comparatively speaking, in terms of performance, this one performs on par with the GeForce 3080, while the AMD RX 6800 also hovers around here in terms of performance. The MSI 4070 Gaming Trio X is an impressive performer, with its sweet spot being 1440p gaming at around 70 to 100 frames per second, depending on which DLSS version you choose. This one supports DLSS 3, and it's super impressive. You can also enjoy gaming at 4K with this card and expect frame rates of around 60 frames per second for most of the demanding games. So what are the benefits of the MSI 4070 Gaming Trio X? Well, for one thing, it's rather power efficient, and under load you can expect a power draw of around 190 watts. That is well below the 30 series cards. If you're a content creator, you'll also get additional benefits from the MSI 4070 Gaming Trio X, thanks to its support for AV1 encoding, a technology that'll see you stream at higher resolution using less bandwidth or processing power. Should you consider this graphics card as your next upgrade? Well, I certainly will. You can spend a few grand more on the Ti version of this GPU, but if you want the latest GeForce series and don't want to worry too much about high-end 4K gaming, then this is the one for you. The MSI 4070 Gaming Trio X offers tremendous value for money. Considering a GeForce 3080 will set you back almost the same amount, I'd say this is a no-brainer. We've run our benchmarks on a high-end 11th gen gaming rig, and the performance was really impressive. Check out our full review on nag.co.za soon, where I delve a little deeper into the technical aspects of the MSI 4070 Gaming Trio X. So Arielle, if we didn't think that we could spend more money on PlayStation 5, yet another accessory comes along, the new PlayStation controller. What do you call it? The PlayStation Controller Pro or something?
Dual Sense H.
Oh, no pro in the name. How's it been? Is it worth the upgrade? I mean, is it just another fancy controller? What can you tell us about it?
So my feelings on it was very conflicted going in. I mean, I saw the price tag. It is almost a $5,000 controller. I was like, that is ridiculous. Like, let's be real. The normal controllers that came out of the PlayStation are pretty damn great. No one's complaining about them. Do we really have to splurge on a $5,000 controller? That is a ludicrous amount of money. And now I have not touched the normal controllers. So let me preface this. You do not need this controller. Absolutely 100% not. It adds very little that I would say is game changing, and you need this controller. But as with any other hobby or interest in your life, not everything that you spend money on needs to be something that you need. Sometimes it can just be something that is nice. And the DualSense controller is so nice.
Is it nice?
It is just so great. So one of the things for me, I have an old sports injury where my thumb dislocates on my right hand, which is sort of manageable in everyday life, but things like gaming with a controller, and if that analog stick hits it at the wrong space, is bad. I mean, I played my way through, what was the last game that I played to review? The new Resident Evil remake. I played that before getting the new controller. And at a stage, my partner looked over at me and he was like, what is going on with your hand? And the bone, you could actually see, had made like a little hobble as it was like pressed out.
Sure.
So just the fact that I can play around and find an analog stick that doesn't hurt me, be it shorter, be it longer, be it domed, be it hollow, and then put the amount of sensitivity. Do I want to hard press it? Do I want to soft press it? How much resistance do I want to feel? Is life-changing for me personally. So if you are somebody who is looking out of an accessibility standpoint for a new controller, it's great. If you're somebody who just wants something that feels nice in your hands, it's great. Do you need it? Absolutely not.
Well, at that price, yeah, probably I would rather go for the VR2, to be honest with you. But I guess as with anything, if you like your craft and your gaming, it's always nice to upgrade your accessories with something.
100%.
That's a little bit different and not the norm. Is it available in any other colors, and how's the battery life?
So no other colors. Default white and black it is. the battery life is the worst thing about the controller. Like, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It's really appallingly bad. If you get 4.5 hours on the controller, it is your lucky day. The controller's really bad. So in my opinion, just buy it accepting that it's a wired controller. The braided cable that it comes with is 3.5 meters long, I want to say. It's fine. It's long enough to not feel that intrusive. A nice thing is the controller comes with like a little clip that hooks in at the back that actually locks the cable into place. So if you're lying and playing, there's not a case where, your knee was on the cable and now it pulled out in the middle of a fight and it's an annoyance. So it basically turns a hybrid controller into a full-on wired controller. You are not pulling that cable out accidentally. But yeah, playing wireless with the battery is not great.
Yeah, I can imagine, especially if you pay so much money for it. Now, in terms of sensitivity and, I mean, just the overall kind of gameplay compared to the previous one, I mean, is that what you're saying is a lot more enjoyable?
So everything in it comes down to feel. So at the back, okay, one of the really nice things is there's paddles at the back of a controller. So that you can customize certain profiles, certain things, which is great. I mean, if you're playing a game where you want to press X to loot constantly, and like me, you have a dodge thumb, or you just don't feel like constantly pressing X, it's super great to put it on one of those paddles. It feels seamless. It's great. And then the other big thing is everything is customizable. So your triggers at the back, you can set how much pressure you want, how responsive you want it to be. Your analog sticks, how much pressure do you want, how responsive do you want it to be. And then you can cycle through like 6 pre-built profiles constantly just by pushing one of the triggers at the front. So like
that sounds
a thing
pretty
for
comprehensive,
me is in certain games, I have a tendency to not want to press my right analog stick, but my thumb just nicks it and then I move, especially with shooters where accuracy is important. It's annoying. It's an issue. You can actually set your dead zones and be like, if it's just a small tap, nothing happens.
That sounds very handy. And I mean, I guess, if you're into every aspect of your gaming, you want to make sure that you get the most comfort and probably the most precision out of it. It's something worth looking at. Is it PC compatible? Can I play it on my Windows games?
Yes, no. So it is going to pick up.
No.
If you plug it into Steam, it is going to pick up. Steam did introduce integration a few years ago already with the PlayStation controllers. If you play certain games, so Sackboy that recently got released on PC is one of those certain games that allows you to utilize some of the controller's features. So swiping up and down, the motion control, some of the controller's features, but those are generally first-party PlayStation games that have been ported that, again, allow some of the features. Other than that, it's just going to operate as a normal stock standard controller just for an exuberant price.
Yeah, that's a pity. Unfortunately, but if you're a PlayStation gamer, you'll be fine. All right, if you want to splurge that much money, thanks, Arielle, for showing us more things we shouldn't be wasting our money on.
This is why you broke the segment with me.
Thanks. We will promptly end the segment so we don't spend any more money. Thanks, and we'll chat again about the next PlayStation update, so hopefully very soon.
Can't wait.
And that's it for episode 15 of The NAG Show. As always, if you'd like to be a part of the show and give us a review on a game or gaming hardware you think you've earned the right to talk about, then drop us a comment below or email us at hey@nagshow.co.za and you could be invited on. You can also send us a voice note or video comment to our WhatsApp number and you could be featured in an upcoming show. Until the next episode, don't forget to check out all our channels across YouTube, Facebook, and Game Explorers, a channel on the Ayoba app. We have a family of over 250,000 viewers and readers, so join in on the fun. Until next time, NAG out.